Alright, Schlockmeister fans, a re-review from my previous channel from this Drive-In Cult Classics 32 movie collection. We're going to watch something called The Stepmother. Let's check it out. This is a married woman named Margot, and her husband's business partner, Alan, is kind of taking advantage of her.
Don't give me that.
She's resisting, but not completely resisting. Well, Frank was away on a business trip, but he come home early this night just to see his wife and Alan, so he thinks something's up. He sees Alan's car in the driveway, too. And he greets Alan when he comes out. Not very nicely. He ends up killing him, choking him, I believe, and now he has to dispose of that body. Getting into his car, first of all. As the raging tides of the ocean, soft as the flight of the sea. He takes that body to the beach and buries him. It just so happens there's a couple nearby fighting.
I want to go home.
Anyway, the next day, Frank's buddies come over and they all go and have fun, which includes some dancing. The police find two bodies at the beach. That Hispanic woman got strangled by her husband, and they found the guy Frank buried too.
Both happened at the same time in the same general area.
A cop is on the case and talking to Frank and all Frank's friends, everybody who knew the guy.
Then I went to the office to check some papers. I arrived home at 4 o'clock in the morning. No.
We've arrested a man for the murder of a woman. The murder occurred near the spot where Alan Richmond's body was found. But so far, he refuses to admit to the killing of Richmond.
I didn't kill Mr. Richmond. I told you. I didn't even know Mr. Richmond. I killed Maria because she was lying to me. She was faking it with everyone.
Frank is haunted by the reality that he killed that guy. He keeps seeing the cop all over the place. He's a little paranoid. Larry Linville's a co-star in this movie.
Where have you been? Are you putting me on? I've been to the bank.
He was just eating dinner with Margot, Frank's wife.
Answer my question. To help her. Now, you know goddamn well I would never touch anything that was yours. Now, she wanted me to talk to you. And I think you know about what?
Well, the two of them get into a little struggle. They're on a roof of this property they're building. Frank goes to confession.
You committed a crime, my son. You must go to the authorities and confess.
He won't, though. This is Claudia Jennings. She's making a porn movie with this guy. His name is Goof. And they're all friends with Frank and everybody else, so the cop goes to talk to him, too. Out of the blue, Frank's son appears. He was in Mexico, perhaps with his mother, I don't know. But he's spending time with Daddy and Stepmom now. Frank was about to make love with his wife, and then decided he's going to miss his plane if he stays, so leaves her before they do anything. Now we're finally going to find out why this movie is called The Stepmother. Frank is away in Acapulco, and Stepmom decides she's horny. And with the son there, it's time for her to make her move. His name is Steve, and he's easily tempted.
These days without you. You've been a great friend.
This is the wife of one of the guys who's dead.
Please, Frank.
And she's in Acapulco with Frank. Gotta keep things hush-hush, of course.
I know you're upset about last night. You needn't worry. I won't tell your father.
Meanwhile, the cop finds the shovel that Frank used.
Your spade, Jose. found inside a car at the bottom of the ocean. It was used to bury a murder victim.
He suspects Frank now.
That's 2.5 hours. Little time, only time to commit a murder. Guy arrives home unexpectedly, finds his wife in the rack with this Richmond. This is your spade, Mr. Delgado. I need it. It'll be used as evidence to convict the killer of your friend, Mr. Richmond.
I'm sorry, Mr. Nessie, I don't know what you're talking about.
When Frank comes home, he finds his wife in bed with his son.
I could shoot you. Give me Dad.
The cops show up. And apparently he was holding a gun. And that's how our movie ends. Freeze frame. Alright, let's talk about the movie The Stepmother. Now, this is a movie that I had on my previous channel. Now I'm re-reviewing it again. So I'd seen it once before, back in like 2012 I think it was. So I actually did remember some parts of this movie. So it's on this Drive-In Cult Classics here, this 32 movie collection. I thought it had been released on its own DVD or Blu-ray, but I couldn't find any evidence of that, so maybe not. But anyway, the plot of this movie is 1972, or is it 74? 72, I think. And this guy comes home, this businessman comes home, and he finds that this other guy is coming out of his house. His wife is inside. This is like a business partner of his of some sort. The guy who had been in the house was actually kind of forcing himself on the guy's wife, although she didn't seem to be completely against it, but whatever the case is, when Frank comes home and sees this guy coming out of his house, he freaks out, tackles the guy, kills him, and then he takes his body to a beach and buries him. So he was upset that this guy may have been doing his wife, which, you know, he actually was. However, like I said, the wife wasn't totally against it, but she didn't tell him about it either. But anyway, he goes to the beach and he buries his body. While he's there, he sees this Hispanic couple arguing, fighting. Turns out, right after he leaves, the guy, the couple, slaps the woman around and kills her. Turns out she'd been sleeping around with people. So anyway, now there's two bodies down there. Frank buried his, and I guess this other woman just left there. But anyway, they eventually catch the Hispanic guy, and they accuse him of killing both people because they find the other body, Frank's body, buried there. Or not Frank's body, the guy Frank killed. And so they pin two murders on him. He keeps saying, no, I only killed my wife. I didn't kill the other guy. I don't know who that is. So a cop investigates this whole thing, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. The guy, Frank, is a businessman. He's actually in cahoots with Larry Linville, who was an actor in the late 70s, stuff, did a lot of TV stuff. They're in business together also, and they're supposed to build these houses and things. But Frank is like, he's very paranoid about what he did. He keeps seeing images of stuff around him. He thinks police are following him and everything, so he's totally freaked out. He happens to catch Larry Linville in a restaurant with his wife. It was platonic at that point, actually. The two of them were just getting together because she wanted to talk to him about some issues she was having with Frank, so she wanted to help him out. He denies, he confronts Larry Linville and says, you were with my wife, blah, blah, blah. He denies it at first. They get into an argument. Next thing you know, he falls off a roof, and Frank feels guilty about that, too. And then we're like halfway through the movie, and then we find out why the movie is called The Stepmother. Well, Frank's son comes from Mexico, comes to visit them, and he's probably about 19 or so. I don't know. Maybe he was supposed to be underage, but he certainly wasn't in real life. But I don't think he was in the movie either. But anyway, maybe he's 18. I don't know. But anyway, he comes home to visit. And when Frank is out of town on business, the wife, Margot, I think was her name, decides to seduce her stepson. And he gives in to her. And they start, we don't actually really see them having a sex doll, but it certainly is implied. Frank comes home and finds them in bed together, cuddling. He doesn't get mad. He just turns around and walks away. By this time, the police have kind of figured out what's going on. They found the shovel that Frank had used to bury the guy's body, but they don't have any witnesses or confession, so they need that. So the cop goes there to try to get a confession out of him, and they show up as Frank turns around and leaves after he sees his wife in bed with his son. And he goes outside, and then the cops end up like shooting him. I'm not even sure exactly why they did that, but they did. And then that's just, the movie just kind of freeze frames and ends. So there you go. I don't know quite how to describe this film. It wasn't completely like tawdry and exploitative. Obviously, the stepmother angle was that. There's a lot of porn about stepmothers and stuff today, but that again, I don't know what's going on here with this movie. There was some nude scenes in here, including the wife, Margot. Claudia Jennings, who is kind of a well-known name, she has a full frontal nude scene, actually. She played a woman who was involved in... Within the movie, there's a small scene where this guy is like a porn actor or porn director, and Claudia Jennings is his like starlet for the next porn movie he's making. So it's like a film within a film type of thing. So we see Claudia Jennings briefly in this movie. Like I said, Larry Linville is also the only other person that's of renown. Frank was played by a guy named Alejandro Ray. Looks like he did a lot of things, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head anything else he did. Nothing that stood out. So, but anyway, that's The Stepmother. Now, this Drive-In Cult Classics 32 movie collection here, they actually released 4 separate DVDs that had 8 movies on them, and then they combined them all into the one big one here. I actually think I have 1 or 2 of the 8 movie collections, and I bit the bullet and bought all 32 because it was cheaper to do it that way. Nowadays, this thing's going for about $45 or so, I think, but really, you can't go wrong. 32 movies, and they're decent quality. The movies I've seen on here so far, I'm going to watch them all in the next couple of weeks. They're pretty actually good quality for some of the crap that's on here. So far, so good. And so that's about $1.50 a piece for 32 films. That's a pretty good deal. So anyway, check it out. Drive-In Cult Classics 32 movie collection. It's The Stepmother. And it's okay for what it is. Just kind of a fun movie to watch. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. Bye.